Hey, folks, here we are. We might be drunk. We're really doing it. The bartender's late, but fuck him. He's a rabid, raging alcoholic. We got a guest today, Tommy Segura. What's shaking, Fetty?
What's up, man?
Good to have you.
We're pumped to have you, man. We're just talking clubs before we're rolling. Just talking. I mean, so you'll still hit clubs when you are working out the hour?
Yeah. That's what I did for this current hour. I kind of did it for. I would have done it more continuously if it wasn't for that 2020 thing that happened. But it was, it was all like club weekends and then building, and then you go like, all right, like I can take it to a theater show now. But yeah, it's the way to do it, I think.
Are there certain cities that you want to hit every time?
I saw you in Lexington once.
Actually, I enjoyed that.
That's a great club.
Yeah.
That room is
Comedy
magic.
Off Broadway.
That's it. There in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love doing the Ice House, like I told you, in Pasadena. Yeah. That's a good one. Then there's like clubs that you personally have so much comfort in. So like the Brea Improv for me is where I like first did a feature set.
Whoa!
Who did you feature for?
Actually, the very first time was
Cosby.
I got promoted during the weekend.
Oh, bad host.
Well, had a rough go.
Okay.
It was a tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Well, that's got to feel good to get promoted.
Yeah, it was.
With a tell.
Yeah.
The king.
And I was like super fucking like a child. Like you know, like a kid with like LeBron. I was like staring at him. He's like, do you ever blink? Like shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Green room and like
he gets more shout outs on this podcast than I think any comic.
I have a fucking like whole chapter about him.
I've told your story, that actor thing. I've told that on this podcast. That's such. Have you heard that?
What?
I think I told it on this podcast.
I don't think we told it on this podcast.
Well, I'll let you tell it because it's so good.
Oh yeah, because so that weekend I got to end up featuring for him, and it was my first time featuring a weekend for the improvs and for anyone. And I was like, I'm a feature now. Like it was amazing, right? And then I started to get work from them like that. And then the next year, so like a year has gone by, I get a call. I'm working a day job. They're like, hey, do you want to work like this coming weekend at the Improv in Brea? I was like, yeah, sure. They go, you've been requested.
Woo!
And I was like, oh, by who? And they go, Dave Attell. And I'm like,
wow.
No. Right? So I was like, fuck yes. So I'm working the weekend and I'm like, now I'm a little more confident and I start, I think we do like Thursday show. And then after the first show, Friday, we're in the green room and he was like, you don't have 20 new minutes? And I was like, what? And he's like, I mean, you did some of those jokes last year. And I was like, yeah, I guess. He goes, I mean, do you want to be like an actor or something?
Oh my God.
From him. Hearing that from him.
You did tell this.
Yeah.
That is
wow.
And I was
brutal.
like, I mean, kind of, yeah. But then I was like, fuck. I mean, yeah, it was like, I mean, it makes you right
What
away.
A favor he did you, though.
He did like multiple favors.
Yeah.
That's also the weekend where I was like, everybody at that time, so this would have been like 2006. Everybody was putting out albums. Albums were still like a hot thing, and it was like kind of like they were, Comedy Central Records and all these like record companies and comedians were just like that was the thing. I've got a new album.
Oh yeah.
So and he was like almost most famous for Skanks for the Memories, which was an album, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
So every comic talked about that album. So I was like, I'm thinking. I'm wondering if I should put out an album. Like I wonder if I should record an album. And he's like fucking, smoking in the room. And he goes, do you have an hour you love? And I was like, no. He goes, but then like I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, and I didn't record anything for another like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely wasn't ready then anyway. But it was like if he hadn't said that or I hadn't heard that from someone, I probably would have been like, I should probably do something,
Yeah.
I feel like this is so. It's like from a dude who cares. That's
and it's like a great.
If you didn't give a shit.
It's a great exactly. But it's also a great thing like when someone's like, I wonder if I should record. It's like, do you have an hour you love right now?
Yeah.
Like, is it ready?
Yeah. Because people want the glitz and the glory and the clicks. Hey, good for you, man. But it's always too soon. I feel like, especially now.
Now it's like people are putting up like their first set. You're like,
I
what?
know.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get it too, where like people send it to you. They're like, "Hey, will you watch this?" And you're like,
Yes.
You don't want me to.
You're like, dude, I don't want. I really don't want to watch this.
Right.
You want me to watch it less. Yeah.
Right. I'll watch it in 4 years when you hate it too.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we can have a laugh about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Attell is, he's all of our favorites, whatever. But like, still to this day, I think, all right, I think he respects me now, and he'll see me and he'll go, "Hey, you got anything new?" And I'm like, so now I have to do a bit to you, and so then I'll do like one, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, come on. He doesn't give.
Painful. No.
But
And the craziest thing was that when so I did back in September, Pete had this like fundraiser show, September 11 thing, right? Where like, and it was
Garden?
like, at the Garden.
Yeah.
So it's all these comics on it, right? And then Attell's on there, and he fucking had the most. He brought out a recorder. And we were playing it, right? But then backstage, it was so funny because everybody is like, Attell, right? He is sitting there fucking joking with everybody.
Yeah.
Like trying to make you laugh the entire time.
Right.
Backstage.
Right.
And I was like, we were all just sitting there like, the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, should we be trying to do this too? Like,
Right.
No, it was just him.
Yeah. But he's tough too because like, one time we were on the stoop at the cellar and he's smoking and he has that filter on his cigarette. And like I watched 3 people come up and go, "What is that thing, Dave?" And he goes, "Apparently it's a conversation starter." And we're all like, "Oh, shit." Because he just knows how to get you.
You guys probably have the same thing I do where like you kind of like have the built-in belief in the hierarchy.
Sure.
So like I don't I'll be like, oh, cool, to like a guy 10 years older than me, but I don't feel like we're peers.
No, I'm the same way.
For sure. No, we have a lot of respect for I mean, look at the wall. I mean, we love comedy.
Of course.
We're
nerds.
super into it. Yeah, I mean, Attell is still a dude. I'm like, I saw him in high school at Caroline's.
Wow.
Like,
Did you really?
Yeah, I have a little playbill that he autographed.
Wow.
I was a dumb kid who was like, Dave Attell? This guy's the greatest. So, no, we still feel weird that we know him.
Yeah.
So we don't ever want to overstep. We think
Right,
one of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
But what about this one? What if you see a guy who's 10 years old or whatever, but you don't respect his stuff?
That's totally different.
That's totally different.
That's totally different.
Then you're like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Yeah, that's true. If you don't respect them,
Hey, this is
What's
the bar.
up, man?
This is Beer Jew.
Hey, how are you, Beard Jew? Good.
What are you making today?
Today we're doing some Bodega Cat whiskey sours.
Ooh.
This is our whiskey, by the way, Tom.
Yeah.
Mark and I made a whiskey.
We're trying to sell a booze here.
Yeah, Bodega Cat.
You guys, like, this is yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going for it.
We're going for
Unlike Ron White, we didn't quit drinking.
16 months. Way to go, Ron.
Hey, good for you.
That's
Maybe.
good.
He's trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, once your hair is that white,
Yeah, but
You're
beautiful head
allowed.
of hair on that motherfucker.
beautiful.
Unfucking
it's
believable.
unbelievable.
Beautiful.
It looks like romance novel, like Fabio's
Yes,
hair.
yes.
Yeah.
dude.
Exactly. Kreischer, though, he's going. The hair.
Everything else.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get
liver.
into the family neglect.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at that.
Oh, my God.
Jesus
Holy
Christ,
shit.
like a Southern Fabio.
Yeah, it really is.
Damn, yeah, he's got a great head of hair.
It really is great.
Like Drunk in Public, talking about albums, that's one of the best albums ever.
Yeah,
So solid.
he's a great guy. I met him for the first time like a month ago, and couldn't have been cooler.
Yeah, he's like like you're talking about storyteller. Like,
Yes.
he's like the OG like storyteller.
Oh, Tater Salad, when that
Yeah.
came out, that like blew the roof off.
Yeah.
What? So when you were doing these clubs, like, what other cities will you hit besides like Bray? I know Bray is like classic. But
Yeah.
What? Anything else?
Let's see. Dina, I think I did Dayton, because it was like out, like, it's like you want to do kind of club, almost like go into secondary markets more, I think, because you're like, you want to save like your primo markets.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'm hitting Fort Wayne, Indiana this
There
fall.
you go. That's how to do
yeah.
it. That's how to do it.
Yeah.
Tough room.
Yeah, the Lexington room. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Comedy zones.
I've done those. I did like the Omaha.
Oh,
that
Funny
too. I
Bone.
heard
That's a
that's
good
That's
one.
a solid club. Really good
Nice.
club.
It's one of those chains, but it's like a mom and poppy version.
Yeah, and they have like a built-in great fan base.
Yeah.
there.
What about like are there any cities or clubs never again?
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Wuhan. What are we thinking?
I don't want to go to Erie.
I died in Erie.
That's a clean room, isn't it?
Last
It
laugh.
was
They want you to be clean.
Jokers, Juniors.
Last laugh.
Yeah.
That was it. I did it once, and the guy was like, "You got to be clean." I'm talking squeaky, and he hosted. He went up and he was like, "So I was fucking my son in the ass." Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He didn't have to be clean.
That guy was. They were fucking. It was because of they sold it though, so it's not the same owners now.
Okay.
So that clean thing came from this woman who bought the club, and her husband would work the bar, and he would like pull you aside. You got to be clean. You're like, you guys have said this like 8 times, man.
Yeah.
And then I remember I did a set where I worked clean. I did a clean 45 or whatever it was then. And then when I got off stage, the lady goes, "Did you say penis?"
Oh,
Right?
come on.
I go, "What?" She goes, "One of the servers said that you said penis." I go, "Isn't that the proper way to describe the anatomy?" And she was like, "I guess." Like that. And I was
Wow, I guess. What a coos.
I mean, it was just a nightmare. And then
What a penis.
I asked them, I go, "Has anyone ever like said they're going to work clean and then just ghost?" And they were like, "Yes."
I've seen that a lot.
And they go, "It was JB Smoove."
Wow.
So he said that he was like, "Yeah, all right. And then he goes, "All right, you ever know like a motherfucker?" And he just starts like, "Motherfucker."
Yeah.
And he said he gets off stage. The guy goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "What?" He goes, "You said motherfucker like 1,000 times." And he goes, "Man, you can't put handcuffs on me, man." He's like, "We just had this." He goes, so they fired. They go, "You got to go."
Wow.
Yeah.
I opened for him once at Caroline's. I don't know.
Obsessed.
I don't know if I've laughed that hard in my life, but he was sweating so much. He did a whole bit about fucking a girl, like doggy style. And first of all, he comes out to ba ba da ba da ba da, and it's all Jews, all like New York Jews who love Curb. 12 minutes in, they just start walking out. Because they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
It was so filthy, and I was loving it.
Well, it's not like Leon is a squeaky clean character on Curb, though.
No.
But they're with
the hell are
their
they?
aunts and uncles. I don't know. You just saw a bunch of yarmulkes filing out. It was great.
Jeez.
The Exodus.
Yeah, that one. I've heard that one's tough. I remember Joe Mackey used to do that one. He was. That's. Are there any others that you're like? That's just rough.
As far as like shit clubs,
Yeah.
man, I'm trying to think of like places I would. I mean, you try to block them out, Like,
Yeah.
there's like these depressed communities. One of the Cedars, I don't remember. I think it's
Ooh, never been there.
maybe it's Falls or it's the one I'm not
Falls?
playing coming up. Where I was like, I don't want. Like, you get off, you're like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I just did Tunica, Mississippi on this tour,
Whoa.
because we did like a southern run. I mean,
Jeez.
it's not at the top of my I gotta go back list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some that you just like, the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that Burt Fully Loaded thing, and party's like, should I do this? Am I gonna ruin some of my tickets?
Oh,
if,
right.
If we go to the same cities, but the cities are like Bristol, Tennessee, some town in Mississippi I've never heard of, and I'm like, we'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
He's selling out like baseball stadiums in a Bristol, Tennessee. It's
Is
insane.
that crazy for you that you were doing these? I mean, like you're a dude that we looked at. We're like, he's a road dog. He's doing it the right way, and you're selling out these like arenas now.
It is crazy. I can't believe that. Because I remember when we were talking about people doing arenas like 5 years ago, having these conversations and being like, "Oh, you can't plan an arena like career." You know what I mean? Like,
no.
It's like we were just talking like how it just it has to just happen, right? So and it just seems silly like when they go, "Hey, here's an offer for," like when the offer comes in, you're like, to do where the basketball team plays.
Wow.
It does seem crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Then we added one. We added an arena
And where?
in Denver. So we're doing,
Wow.
So this is you see like Nikola Jokic's face in the locker room, and you're like, I'm going to tell
jerseys.
jokes here.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real. But the other thing that, I mean, you probably get this too already, is like you do weirdly adapt pretty quickly to things.
Totally. Yeah.
Like,
That's what I think. That's what comics do, and then
Yeah.
you start going like, "Oh, we didn't add one."
Yeah.
It gets boring quick. Not boring, but it gets ordinary quick.
yeah, you get really used to it.
Yeah.
You get really used to it.
Is it? But I mean, doing arenas. I mean, it's like a whole different thing. I mean, that's,
It's totally different. You also realize that it is the opposite of intimacy.
Yes.
Like doing the cellar is like very intimate, right? You're just
Yeah.
like any like small club. you know. And then you realize that when you do the arenas, it's like they're watching the special,
Right.
because they're all like most of them are just like looking at that screen.
That's true.
You know? So you're kind of performing to the like you're not like what's up like man.
Yeah.
you're just like putting on almost like you learn the lines and you put on the show.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. I bombed at the Kalamazoo, whatever that arena is, and I'm still scarred.
Really?
I'm still in the shower 4 years later, like, oh, that was bad.
What were you just like?
It started late, and they were like, "You got to go up now." And they were seating. They were
opening for Amy, right?
Yeah, Amy Schumer, and it was the worst day of my life because she goes, "I'm going to give you a Comedy Central special. I'm going to produce it." And I'm like, "Oh my god, it's the biggest deal of my life." And she's like, "So I'll watch." She never watched. She was in the green room getting ready. So she's at the side of the stage like this, and I'm just pouring sweat. I'm talking, you could hear a mouse queef. It was 20,000 people, zero noise, except for like, is this my seat? Who's that? Is that who had this seat? Are you here? Can I sit here? It's like, oh god.
And you're bringing
brutal.
out like the save jokes. You're like,
Everything.
Every line. You're like, this one will turn it around. I'll get something.
Yeah, I was like, should I go Michael Richards? That might get him. That might wake him up a little. I get some response. It was brutal.
Fucking horrific feeling.
Kalamazoo is a rough.
A lot of camo hats.
I bombed.
There.
I bombed. There was a club there that I remember
Thank
I
you,
bombed
beat
at.
you.
Home of Derek Jeter.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Kalamazoo. Hey, I'm excited.
Wait, what do we got again?
Yeah, what is this?
This is just a typical whiskey sour with Bodega Cat.
Oh, all right, great.
A little
Awesome.
peach in there too.
Now I know you got a TV taping
Yeah,
after this.
we'll have a little bit.
You don't have to
Just
drink
a little.
all of it there.
Yeah.
That's really good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Mazel
Wow,
tov.
that's delightful. That's
Praise
awesome.
Allah.
Go.
There we go.
There
Might
we
as
go.
well. Yeah. Now,
You're taping Colbert today. I think actually the first time I met you, you were doing panel on Conan. I was doing stand up on there.
Yeah, right.
Was that your first time doing panel or no?
I don't remember.
You've done it a bunch now, though, right?
A few times, not that many times. It's fun. I mean, I like it. I remember I was like, oh man, because you were really good, and
You were really good. I was pumped that I was following you because you want to follow a comic.
Yeah. And I think who did I go? I was out there with Lisa Kudrow on that. I remember.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Dude, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah, she was great.
comeback.
Man. Yeah, she's awesome. Panel is it's way less pressure than doing a set.
Oh, of course.
It is, but also you can kind of just be. I mean, I guess they expect you to be funny because comedian, but like you're following an actor. Usually, you're in the same seat. Like there is an advantage in some ways. You just come out and you're like, "Here's jokes," you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Panel looks more fun.
It's fun. I mean, also, but you like they do the pre-interview, and they talk to you for like 40 minutes, and then you don't know because like the person interviewing you is laughing like it's a phone call.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, and they're like, all right, well, like tomorrow we'll figure out what we want to do about this. And then you're like, I wonder if they, like, do they like the stuff that it was kind of like throwaway? Mm-hmm. Where you're like, that wasn't that, like, what if that's what they want to do?
Yeah.
And then the thing that you thought was the most solid, they're like,
Oh, interesting.
So you just don't know which way, because then what happens is you show up and they go, we're going to do this. Remember we talked about these things? We're going to do these three. And you're like, really? You want to do those three?
Right.
You know?
Now, if you just went off the beaten path and said, fuck it, I'm doing whatever, would they be like, all right, we can't have him back. He's a little...
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Unless you're like a huge fucking star, yeah.
Because like Gervais could probably just go out there and be like, I got it.
Yeah. I think they said that, I asked one time, because I did that with Conan a few times, I was like, what do you do with like Will, like, because like Will Ferrell would do Conan all the time?
Jim Carrey.
And they were like, oh yeah, he'll just be like, I want to wear a fucking chef's hat. And
Gotta go with it.
they're like, okay.
Yeah. But you know it'll be gold.
Yeah. Or like, I remember because Burr would go on there and just like murder.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I followed him once on Conan, and it might have been my best set ever because it was when he was doing that Caitlyn Jenner trans bit where he's like,
bit.
give it a minute, you know, like that whole bit, and I was like, holy shit, he's killing so hard, and I was pumped. I was like, I had a few drinks in the green room, and it was like the loosest I've ever been, and I'm like, holy shit, this is, like I'm saying, following you or following Bill Burr, it's like the dream spot.
Right. Yeah.
Because nothing I say is going to shock them after Burr's doing a Caitlyn Jenner bit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I go, how does he, what, they go, we literally call him, right? When they're like, yeah, we want you to do Thursday. And they're like, so like, what's on your mind? And then he's just like, and then
Women
like,
suck.
All right, we'll see you Thursday. Like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Whoa, that's the dream.
Yeah.
But you've done it a few times, so it's like, it was Conan one of your guys where you're kind of like, fuck, I'm getting interviewed by Conan. There's a crowd. Like, it's different than podcasting. You get to still be a comic, you know?
The thing is, though, I think a big part of this is like you're the host, you know? So he's such a generous, like the one guy you want asking you the questions.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's a comedy writer, like
Right.
at heart. So he's like really helping the bits move along.
Oh, the best.
You know, that's kind of the best. Yeah.
But
I think Colbert's like that too.
Have you done Colbert?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was cool.
Super cool.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was worried about him. You never know.
Yeah.
Can't get a read sometimes.
Yeah. No, because he comes from, remember like Strangers with Candy.
Right.
And he's
Incredible show.
Yeah, and he's like his roots are like improv actor, you know.
True. But isn't it kind of nice now with the way things are going? You got podcasts, you got your own studio, you got arenas. You don't really need the couch. Before,
Right.
that was a make or break, and now it's like, I'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Now it's gravy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like now like it could go horribly wrong, and then we would just talk about it on the podcast. for a week,
Exactly.
and you'd be like, I don't know, we would just make memes about it or something.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was like, oh my God, my life
life's
is over.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
true.
Now a
Now you can
bomb
use
is
it.
almost like a badge of honor.
Oh,
where you're
yeah.
like, it's kind of cool.
When things go wrong and you have like this, like
Yes.
this would be like the best thing to have after
Yeah.
something publicly went wrong.
Right.
Oh, I think a DeStefano bombing.
Exactly.
Was it Wendy Williams or something?
Something like that,
He
yeah.
bombed so
Nick
fucking-
Cannon, maybe?
Nick Cannon, yeah.
Nick Cannon was having a kid, so he missed the set. But yeah, you got to use it. And then now we have the power. I don't feel like we had that 10 years ago.
Right. You have the power to do everything. I mean, like I talk about you guys on podcasts how much I love the that thing that started with comics finally going, oh, I'll just shoot it myself and put it up.
Hell yeah.
Right. And that thing has just grown and grown and grown, and it's the best thing. But it's all about like comedians like taking the ownership. It's like, it's no different than somebody wants to be a filmmaker and they're like,
Right.
they're like, dude, just go shoot the thing. Like,
Yeah,
go make
exactly.
it.
And also touring has changed. I remember because I just did the thing with Letterman on the couch on Netflix, and
Yeah.
he was kind of like, so you just like he kind of does. He's in a different era, so
Yeah.
he was kind of like, we would try to get a sitcom. He was like, can you explain social media to me? Which is like, I'm telling David, I'm explaining
Yeah.
social media to David Letterman,
Right.
But he was like, yeah. So I'm like, well, the money's on the road now. And you can just make stuff. I mean, of course, you could do a sitcom still, but it's way harder. And he was kind of like, so you self-produce it. He just didn't understand
Yeah.
it. It's like a whole new thing.
It makes sense that he wouldn't like it'd be new to him.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, the one thing I will say is like now it is on us to decide when something's ready, because you have to, back in the day with these gatekeepers, the one thing is like, I mean, look, obviously bad specials get made, but you want the most polished product to send in. And now you could just be like, yeah, it's ready. And you're like, maybe it's not. People will decide on YouTube, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, knowing when it's ready is a skill you learn. I think.
Is it harder for you to tell now? Because like your fans are diehard.
Nah.
And you came up like a road dog.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think you can get lost in thinking that you're great easy, right? Like if you don't have that thing in your head that goes like, that's like, but I feel like you the only reason you fall for it is like you got lazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're allowing. It's like being like, I don't need to lose weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you just know. You're like, I need to fucking trim down. You just know.
Right.
And I feel like you can, you can be delusional about it if you want, and you know it from the stage. If something like, if it's all fans. The real thing is like if you're doing all fans and you're kind of like trying to like muscle a joke in that's like not working, but you're like, I'll just keep that. Like that's lazy.
It's lazy.
It's being lazy, you know. But I feel like you develop once you do this a while, you actually know when to call and be like, hey, this is ready.
Right.
You can just there's like a
You can feel it.
you can feel it. Yeah.
It's almost like when a girl fakes an orgasm, you're like, I don't think that was real. And then when it is real, you're like, I'm squirted all over. Like that was the one.
that was it.
But then there's some comics who are a week in who are like, oh, this bringer show, this is all real. Like I'm just this
That
good.
new comic, I make every woman come. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
I don't think you do.
I don't think you do. No, I was just taping something, and it's like there's certain jokes where you're like, you're really fighting for it, and they just aren't working, and you just have to be honest with yourself. Like, I can have like maybe a quick one for me, but you can't put a whole.
Yeah.
You can't put out a whole thing for you that's not hitting.
No.
You got to keep cutting, and you're like, it's funny. There's certain bits. Even my director's like, that's a really good bit. I was like, but it's not working.
I know.
Right,
I
right.
know.
So if it's not working, I'll back to the drawing board. You know?
And you'll get
Yeah.
it working later.
And the thing is, you learn this over time too. You can't rely on other people for it.
No.
It's got to be you, because you can hear the guy go, "That's great," and be like, "See, it is great," and like
Yes.
let that be the deciding factor. You know what I
Right.
mean? But you're the one that has to go, "No,"
Right.
because you know more than anybody about whether it's working or not.
It's the do I look fat in this? And you
Yeah.
want to be like, well, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
you should know that. Why are
Attell
you
told you
asking
you
me?
look fat in this.
Yes, yeah.
That's what Attell did, and it's like I remember Attell is so wise, and it's like comedy Yoda, where it's like the shortest amount of words. I remember I heard a guy complaining about not getting stuff, and Attell just said, "Get funnier."
That's it.
Not in a way that like you're not funny, but like what else can you do?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's all you need to hear.
That's all you need to do. Yeah, I heard. What was it? Rogan said, he goes, "Be undeniable."
That's
Yeah.
the big one, yeah.
I mean, that's a great one, right?
Undeniable.
Yeah, where people are just like, "This guy's fucking," you know, what can anyone say?
right.
That's what the road is. It makes you undeniable because you're like, is this joke funny in Portland and St. Louis, Missouri? Is this
exactly.
funny everywhere? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard Bill Burr talk about Tony V, and he was like a new comic, and Tony V was like this Boston kind of legend guy, and they're all hanging out smoking cigars, and Bill Burr's like, I don't know, man, I'm all about jokes, but I don't want to be one of these schmoozers and network guys, and I can't do that shit. And Tony V goes, get good at it. And that was it. And you're like, that's all you need to hear.
Yeah.
It's a business.
So many funny people who put no work into the other stuff, and like, you know, we started learning like, holy shit, there's a whole other side to this.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, especially now. Like, 25 years ago, you could pretty much like rely on like the other people to manage you and make things
Sure.
happen. But now everybody's like, you're legitimately an entrepreneur
Oh,
that
yeah.
runs like Samuel Inc. and, Mark Norman Inc. And like you run those businesses, and you can fucking, you can be like, you know what? Like, we have a few stores open and I'm happy with that. Or you have to be like, you know what? I have to do this I have to do all the parts of this. I'm the
Yeah.
CEO. You have to. Or if you don't want to, you can just be like, well, I just worry about the being funny part. And that's obviously the main product. But if you're going to just be lazy about it, then you don't get to complain.
Yeah.
Because I remember like friends being like, like really funny guys, really funny, and being like, hey, like I think I'm going to start like submitting to the Comedy Central and the Conan and stuff, like the stuff that you did like 5 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, you should. And they're like, yeah,
You're gonna start paying attention to your career.
yeah, they're like, yeah, I just, I'm like, yeah, all you do, like you're ready. You've been
Right.
ready. Like you have to act.
I know, but what about the fact that most comics are inherently lazy? Do you ever get worried? You have so many plates spinning. You got a book, you got a podcast studio, you got the road, you got family, you got
Yeah.
kids, wife.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Are you terrified?
I think part of it is you just don't stop.
You just keep going.
You just keep going.
yeah.
Are you exhausted?
Yeah.
I can't imagine, because I mean, we're beat and we don't have families. I mean,
And we drink.
and we drink. Yeah, but we're gonna have to cut back.
This
at
tour, the
some
way
point.
that I did this tour is not the way to do it.
Oh,
Why
yeah?
is that?
Because I just signed up for way, way too much. Like I signed up. I usually we had like a rule, which was like 2 weeks a month. You can do whatever the fuck you want to me. And it was one of those things where it just
Keeps
started.
coming.
It built,
Keeps building.
and it was built like way before it started.
Right.
So it was like down the line. And then you got to it and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then I've gotten through, we were all like just eyeing June. We're like, this will be like, but then, I was looking, I was like, July's insane. August, I have a little break. And then, once I get to December, I chill for the month of December.
Okay.
And then, but then next year, the first 4 months are all international stuff.
Woo!
That's Thank God. I think they just lifted the you need a test to get back in the country.
Really?
For whatever reason, that just stressed the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in Canada, the second Gary Veter and I landed, we had to get a COVID test because we were there for one night. And I was like, I fucking hate this.
I know.
I fucking hate this.
Silly.
Yeah, Mexico. I went to Mexico.
They do it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's America.
Oh, getting back in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Mexico,
Yeah.
when do they start giving a fuck? You can bring kids home and shit, you know? Yeah.
They don't need to pass a COVID test.
I
If
got
they
it.
come here illegally.
All right. That's the Mexico I know.
Yeah, and I feel like if you were positive, they're like, "You want to do it again?" yeah, sure.
Right.
That's what it is. But that even like you're doing Colbert tonight, does it stress you out? Just like, fuck, I got to take another test. Just a false positive.
I didn't even remember, and then I got a text this morning, but right before I got in the car to come here, and they're like, "Hey, there's a nurse at your door." I was like, "What?"
Oh, fuck.
And then the nurse came in, did a COVID test. Yeah,
Wow. How was the sex?
she was good.
All right.
Oh yeah, dude.
Sexy, light skin, black
Yeah.
chick. She was cool.
Ooh, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit! I had a question. Hold on about the goddamn work piling up, and now I love. Oh, my thing is whenever work is like crazy, you know, when you look at your calendar, you're like 10 a.m. phoner, noon podcast, 3 o'clock whatever, and then you have 4 shows a night, then a flight, then this and that. I'm like, it will end.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell myself. Like this is hell, and it's just terrifying, but it will stop at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, real Zen cliche shit, but you really do have to go like, here's what I'm doing, like in this moment.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
today.
It's true.
Yeah, you just have to. I do that all the time. Like when we got to this special last week, I was like, I'm taping 7 shows. I'm a fucking idiot.
It's daunting.
I'm just looking at like Saturday Late Show the second I get off. I'm like, I'm gonna get drunk. It's gonna be easy. I can't wait. And then of course you don't think about like, oh yeah, I'm traveling the next day. I feel fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Deal with that when it comes.
But I do think of like you got to just look at the end because I mean you're so busy. You got your mom's house. You've got 2 bears.
Yeah.
You've got and then are you ever kind of like I want time to write my fucking act because like we got into this to be stand-ups.
Yeah,
and
I
there's
mean-
no time to write. Right?
I mean, luckily once you're like touring obviously for a bit, your hour gets into like, you're like, all right, this is like a shaped hour.
Yeah.
So it's like that right now where I'll perform it all week, but I'll fly home and then we'll record podcasts all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then I'll leave Wednesday.
Yes.
So it's like, it is the entire fucking thing. The other thing that's like, I've never done really before on tour is that like we have a huge like workout thing on the road
Jesus
because
Christ.
I think it's the only way that I would survive this tour.
Yeah.
Like if I was like
what kind of work?
10 years ago, it would have just been like, let's sleep all day.
Yeah.
And then eat in bed.
Right.
And then probably die on the tour. But no,
The
we
farewell tour, Tom Segura.
Oh man,
Ralphie
we wake
May.
up. We
Sorry.
Just made it real, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, I got a problem.
Supposed to make it real?
I had one sip.
yeah. He didn't-
Oh, shit, he's drunk.
hurt
Falling
his
apart.
feelings. Yeah.
Fucking hammered.
His
Big
favorite-
late.
It's his favorite comic.
Big Ralphie fan.
Yeah.
No, we wake up and we lift, like in the
Nice.
morning.
What?
Yeah, and then we do cardio before the shows.
Oh, you-
Oh,
we do
my
like 2
God.
days. Yeah.
two
Workouts.
workouts in one day.
Yeah, yeah.
And who's doing this with you?
I bring a trainer on the road.
Whoa.
That's the move.
It's funny to think I'll add more work, and that'll make me feel better.
You know
But it
what,
gives you
dude?
energy, right?
It 100% works.
Interesting.
Because and don't forget that I'm doing like most of these weeks, I'm in a new city every day.
Exactly.
So like we'll go like, it's like Baltimore. Next day we're in Cleveland. It's like, you know what? Are you up? Yeah. It's like, let's just go now.
Yeah.
So you get up, you work out, and then you're like, man, like you get all those fucking endorphins and
Whoa.
a pump. And then we're like, now we go eat like a healthy breakfast. Then we have a window of time. It also makes like the time go. And then,
Yes.
I got to Zoom, I got to do this. And then it's like, hey, it's 4. Let's go do cardio. And then it's like, hey, let's go to do the shows.
and then you sleep better too, I bet. I mean,
100%.
that's
I would hate opening for you. I mean, this sounds like a nightmare. Because are there mornings where you're like, I just can't. I can't do it.
Kind of, but some of those mornings you get like, what are you fucking made of? Are you a pussy? So it's like,
that's your trainer.
Yeah.
Respect.
shout out to Sean Nix. And then,
Wow.
I love this. Bert and you, like Bert is getting shit faced through the night. and
Yeah,
you're
you
like-
go with him. You do that. Except you don't look like him, but you fucking.
But I do, but I don't. He doesn't do the workout shit like that.
No, I know.
He's playing frisbee golf.
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, I'm going to completely change my life. And I'm like, okay. And then he'll be like, look what I did today. And it'll be like, I ran 4 miles. I did a
okay.
crazy, he'll do like a crazy workout. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Congrats. And then I see him posts a story. He's like, 3rd bottle of wine, and it's delicious. I'm like, dude, you can't fucking do all that and have 3 bottles of wine. Are you out of your mind?
He'll post a clip and be like, that's cardio. I held the phone up, that's a few calories. You're like, that's not working out. But he does. I will say, we did Europe together, and I'd wake up at noon, and he was on the elliptical.
Isn't it crazy?
What are you doing? He'd have a Bud Light in the cup holder of the elliptical. It was insane.
It's insane. It is crazy.
He really is a machine. It's impressive.
Do you still party hard like every night on the road or no?
Not every night, but I get one big night in on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday weekend. Friday is usually the big one.
The big night out.
But it's
now
getting older.
On this fully loaded thing, you're definitely going to throw down.
I know. And then Diaz is there, and Big J, and
Diaz is going to give you guys all fucking stars. I
can't fuck with that shit,
dude.
I'm going to fake.
You know what he'll do? He'll do that. He'll be like, "What are you, fucking Momo?" And then he'll be like, "You're not going to do it." It's fucking it's fucking like a little chick in a skirt, and then he'll cut a corner off, eat that.
Okay.
And you'll be like, all right. And then an hour later, you'll be like,
have you done that with him?
Yeah, dude.
I can't do that
Nightmare.
shit.
Dude,
I freak out.
So I did his podcast. This is like, I don't know how many, like 7-8 years ago. And he's like, eat one of these. I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because it's fucking 800 milligrams, dude.
Yeah.
So he cuts a corner off. Like I'm telling you, he's like, eat that. And I'm like, all right. Like that's literally, it's like you could put it between these two little things. And, it tastes like you're eating a crumb of a cookie or something.
Right.
So I'm like, this is fine. I sit there, we do the podcast like this. By the end of it, I'm like, and I don't realize how fucked up I am, right? I'm like, all right, it was good to see you, man. I go downstairs. I have my car out front. I get on, I put on the directions, and it's like, make a right onto the freeway. And I drive straight, and I was like, oh, shit. It was right there. I'm like, fuck. So I go, all right, I'll turn around. So I turn around, and now it says make a left on the freeway. I drive past it again. I'm like, motherfucker.
Oh, boy.
So then I turn around again, and as I'm pulling up to that entrance, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I look to my left, and it's LAPD, and I'm like, I'm just like panicked,
Oh, yeah, of
So
course.
Instead of turning on the freeway, I'm like, don't get on the freeway. You're too fucked up. I just go straight. I pull onto Ventura, which is like the big street in the valley. I pull into a Ralph's parking lot, and I just put the car in park, and I'm like, fuck. And I just turn my head to the right, and in the car next to me, looking at me like this, is Dice.
What? No way.
Yes, I swear to God. And I'm like, I feel like, I'm tripping right now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just out of my mind. And I'm like, there's no way I can drive, right? There's no fucking way I can drive. So I call an Uber, and
You left your car?
I left my car at the Ralph's.
Wow.
And I'm so fucked up that, like, first of all, the Uber driver is a woman, which is pretty, like, kind of rare, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I'm cool, don't worry. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, there's no way I could do this right now. I keep telling her, I'm like, there's no way I could do this. She's like, okay. And I'm like, because I'm like super fucked up. And she's like, great. And I just keep repeating it to her. I'm like, yeah, I was like, just saw the turns you made. There's no way I could handle this. She's like, all right, man. Like,
Meanwhile, Diaz is doing his taxes. He's not even phased
he's
at all.
fine. He's fine. And he also ate like 3.
Ah.
Yeah. And what he would do is
like
would, the funny thing, he would do the podcast. He would talk at you for like 70 minutes straight. And then I was robbing this guy in San Francisco. And then you're like, God.
I remember doing his pot. Literally, I got so many
You did
messages.
it?
Don't take the drugs.
Oh, dude.
I got
wow.
all those messages. Don't take the drugs. I was like, all right.
He talks so much, and you actually feel like you're like at a show or something, right? You're like, you're listening to him,
Right.
and then like you're so like kind of mesmerized by all the wild shit he's saying, and then he's like, "What's going on with you?" And you're like, "After that," like, and then I'm like, "I don't know. I just I have a book out," and then you look at him, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's like zonked.
Well, you know what's crazy is that like you're doing Colbert. It's like we're sending a COVID nurse. We're gonna take care of you. You do Joey's podcast. You're gonna get drugged.
Right.
More people might listen to this.
Oh yeah,
Right.
crazy.
Good
crazy.
point.
That's crazy to
This
me.
guy's kidnapped a person. He has an Uzi.
Yeah, this guy pled down from armed kidnapping.
Wow.
Armed.
That's a
kidnapping.
credit.
He was supposed to do 25 years.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you get out of it?
The lawyers, he got a plea offer.
He gave him
to,
a crumb,
if he
and
pled guilty to a lesser charge, and he took it, and
Wow.
It's funny what we get in trouble for. You know, people are like, he said this on a podcast. You're like, well, he also put a person in a trunk. Yeah. You're like, that's fine.
Yeah, he had an Uzi with it.
Yeah, we're not. This is not the same levels we're doing. This is not. Yeah.
Oh,
You could be mad about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Oh, that's a comedy special. Diaz buying an Uzi.
Oh, my
that I'd like to
God.
see in Jersey somewhere.
That is crazy that you were. I mean, that scares me on these pods, like the drugs, and then you're just like, so this is just in the world now forever.
This is
just
recorded.
Me fucked up.
oh yeah,
Yep, you got that right.
Us having a drinking podcast. I just realized.
I mean, Colin Quinn said it. He's like, you get in trouble where you say now, and all we do is talk into microphones for the world to hear.
That's it.
It's weird.
That's what Colin said. He goes, they said something like, "Could you get canceled?" He goes, "Yeah, all you need is Wi-Fi."
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the Colin. I mean, dude, I watched some of his new one-man show last night.
Killer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
what's the new topic or whatever?
It's like
it's social commentary. It's it's just like the world,
Like
but
social
like
media,
but it's God.
canceling.
It's like he's so funny. It's like he's such a smart guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just watching next to Liz at the cellar, and we're just fucking. It's like. You forget how fun our job is sometimes. You're like, oh no, I'm doing a set. And you're like, oh no, that's Colin Quinn. I'm gonna go sit and watch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best part, you know.
Totally. Yeah, it is the best part. I mean, I'm still ultimately like just a huge comedy fan.
Yeah,
that's why you get into doing stand up.
Yeah.
You just love watching it.
I forgot to tell you, Rock gave you a nice shout out on David Spade's pod. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard that. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Was he
very
one of your dudes starting now?
Like the biggest. Because it's a big part of it too is like your age, right? Like how old are you?
35.
You're 35 and
38.
You're 38. Like so I just turned 43. And so when I was I guess I would have been a junior in high school, Bring the Pain came out.
Oh,
so you're like, I mean, imagine, you're 17.
Oh, dude.
And so it's like, that's a really like an age where you're like you form your sense of humor, but you're like, what is the thing, and it's like that comes out. You're like, oh, that's the
thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then I'm a sophomore or junior in college, and Bigger and Blacker comes out, and we're like, what the fuck,
Dude.
man?
Oh yeah.
I remember having the CD player and listening to, I think it was Roll with the New, and I'm laughing my ass off, and I probably didn't get half the jokes. I was a child, but I was like, this is funny. I know this is funny. And my mom grabs the headphones and puts it on. I just see like this look of horror on her face.
Which is what you want.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
Cut
Comedy special.
30 seconds later, she keeps listening. I see her laughing so hard. I'm like, that's
even better.
comedy.
Yeah,
that's fucking
that's
comedy.
exactly.
He like pushed her away and then pulled her back
in.
Like, that's the genius of rock. you
Yeah,
know?
I was to say I was a fan is like a huge understatement.
Was he like your number one guy, you think?
Definitely. I mean, I could show you. I was doing a poor rock impression
Really?
on stage, unknowing. Like, when you start, sometimes you don't know that you're doing it.
Tom Segura's White and Black Mall.
Yeah. And I'm skinny in it. You should see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like 180.
Pull it up.
It's not up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's
We'll
not
find
up.
that.
I have it though. I have it. But I'm like pacing the stage.
Yeah.
And I got the free hand, and I'm like punching with this hand. And
Leather jacket.
And then people would be like, I remember someone would be like, "You're very urban." And I was like,
wow.
"What?" And I mean, this is like 1 year in,
Sure,
and I'm like, I don't realize that I'm just imitating a cadence that I worship.
Right.
You know?
Of course. You
So
can't
I'm
help it.
You can't help. And then now, like, I've run into him a few times, and I'm absolutely like a child.
Same.
Like he goes, hey, like all your stuff. I always watch all your specials, and you got great stuff. And I was like, I watch your stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I told the story before, but he directed a special I opened for, just opened,
Yeah.
and I had a rough one. And he never talked to me, never spoke to me. He's one of those kind of standoffish guys, but I had a rough set on one of the shows, and he came up to me, and he goes, and I was like, oh my God, he's coming to talk to me. And he goes, you got to pick it up. And I was like, okay. And luckily the second set was better, but I wanted to kill myself for like an hour.
Damn.
And he was right, but hearing that guy say that fucking stung.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
one
a
of those
legend.
things you'd never forget. Those things.
Oh,
right?
never.
That's like a nightmare you have.
Yes.
That's like a nightmare where you're like, Chris Rock is like, you're not doing well enough.
I know.
That's a fucking nightmare.
It's not the same thing, but I did a show where the director P.T. Anderson. He did like Magnolia.
Paul Thomas.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, oh,
dude,
he's
Philip
here.
Baker Hall just died, by the way.
He did.
He just
Shout
died,
out.
90 years old.
Bookman.
Bookman,
amazing.
but Boogie Nights, Magnolia,
Amazing.
legend, funny as hell and everything.
Hell of an actor.
so good. Like that voice.
Yeah, those eyes.
Just yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Paul
No,
Thomas
no,
Anderson. We Might Be Drunk is thrilled to welcome our new sponsor, Fanimal. I love live events. I hate buying tickets. The hidden fees suck, and coordinating with your friends is a nightmare. They're garbage. I always end up fronting a bunch of money and chasing down my friends to get reimbursed. Not me personally, because I'm very generous.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if they flake, I'm stuck with the whole bill. And then I discovered Fanimal. Fanimal has tickets to everything. There's no fees. The price you see is the price you pay. That's pretty big, honestly.
Yeah.
Not only are those prices transparent, but they're almost always lower than anywhere else I look. And for any hot ticket like Coachella, a Laker game, or Dave Chappelle, Fanimal is always the cheapest option. Nobody goes to live events anymore, so why buy tickets alone? Fanimal, although if you do come to a show alone, there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. I love that. Someone tweeted me about that the other day. They're like, is it weird? My friends bail. Is it weird if I come alone? I said, no, dude, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what? The guy made new friends at the show.
There
He
you
tweeted me
go.
after. He's like, I sat with these guys and they were tweeting me too. So you end up having a great time no matter what. Fanimal's patented group purchase makes it easy. First, you set a minimum size for your group, and you choose the number of tickets you want to pay for yourself. Then you invite friends. When the minimum size is met, everyone gets charged and receives their ticket. If the minimum size isn't reached in time, nobody gets charged. You don't commit until your friends do. Tell them how. I called you March. March Normand. Tell them how to
Yes.
do it.
Oh, yeah. And Fanimal has amazing customer service. Don't take my word for it. Check out their hundreds of 5-star reviews. The next time you need tickets, go to Fanimal.com and sign up with code DRUNK for 20% of credit, $20 of credit towards your first purchase. We drink on this show. Check out Fanimal and experience more. Support the show and get $20 off your first purchase with the code DRUNK at Fanimal.com, Fanimal.com. Get on it. Hey, We Might Be Drunk is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. I won't even look. I bet I'm wearing them right now. Oh, there they are, folks.
I'm not today, but I usually am.
He usually is. I can vouch. I've seen his asshole. The official two-pouch underwear of comedy fans everywhere. Sheath Underwear has been cradling nuts and schlong since 2013.
Who wrote this? My aunt?
We love them. You'll love them. They got them for men, women. It's the best. They're soft. They're sexy. They're slick. They're sleek. You got the balls and the nuts separated. Finally, they need some me time. Plus, it's invented by a Army soldier and comedy superfan, Robert Patton. He knew there had to be a better way to unstuck the junk, and Sheath was born. Futuristic dick pouch aside, this underwear is comfy, cool, and comes in so many different patterns. You can have a Sheath pair ready for any occasion. And they didn't leave out your lady drunks either. The comfort you guys know for your balls, Sheath has applied to boobs with the sports bras. Tell them how to do it, Fatty.
Although we're drinking, I might need one of them. Go to sheathunderwear.com and order with promo code DRUNK to get 20% off your first order and Sheath 100% money back guarantee. That's sheathunderwear.com, promo code DRUNK. Get Sheath Underwear and let them support your ball bag.
Yeah, what more do you need? Wearing them right now. Hey, We Might Be Drunk is brought to you by Fume. Fume is the safe way to quit smoking. Handcrafted, Fume's 100% Canadian maple inhaler is made to comfortably replace the hand-to-mouth habit. Simply insert one of their non-addictive flavored cores. Cores come in dozens of flavors like peppermint or lemon berry bliss. I got one of these things. It feels good to hold. It's a cool-looking little wooden contraption. And you just want to hit it all day, and this thing works, and it smells great. It's aromatherapy and an inhaler. There's no smoke, no vape, no nicotine to worry about. Even if you're not trying to quit smoking, Fume's cores can help with relaxation, energy, and more. It just feels good to put that puppy in the mouth and give it a suck. Give it a whirl, folks. Tell them how, Fatty.
It's like a kid on a flight from Orlando. You want to hit it all day.
Yeah.
Whether
exactly.
you're a smoker or an ex-smoker who still struggles with cravings, Fume is the perfect tool for you. It's time to create positive habits and quit naturally with Fume, and we're here to make it easier. Right now, if you head to breathefume.com/drunk and use promo code DRUNK, you're going to save 10% off your entire order. You're going to save on the cigarettes you aren't buying and save on your initial purchase of Fume. That's 10% off your entire order when you head to breathefume.com/drunk. That's BREATHEFUM.com/drunk and use code DRUNK.
Yeah.
But I'm at the show and they're like, Paul Thomas Anderson is here with Maya Rudolph. And I was like, no way. And I go out there and fucking... I tell a joke that a woman stands up and goes, you should leave. And it's just, it's just silent. And then I go, why don't you fucking leave? And I go, and I get like, that natural
Sure.
like, fuck off thing. But it, to say that the set went off the rails is like kind of an understatement. you know?
Yeah.
Like it was just like, and then I was like, where's PT? And they're like, I think he's still out there.
Oh, damn, man. That is...
Because in your head, you're like, there's going to be another ensemble drama.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the new John C. Reilly
Yeah.
or
Right,
whoever,
right.
Wahlberg, whoever they cast.
Exactly.
Dude, I remember once in that club Rooster T. Feathers, I'm doing...
Huge, won't go back to. Sorry,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
talking about
Really?
that. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
mind that one.
I'll tell you later.
I can't wait. Well, mine is quick. I mean, it was what you said reminded me of. I was doing a bit that was like, I guess turned out to be a somewhat provocative joke, like only joke I've ever gotten death threats for. But like, I was working it out there,
Yeah.
so it was even worse.
I was drunk at the time.
Yeah, and then I remember in the middle of the bit, a woman stands up. It's the alligator joke, and a woman stands up, and she goes, "You fucking stink," and just and everyone just is frozen, and she just walks out, slams the door, and then a woman goes, "I think you're doing great," and that fucking hurt worse.
That hurt worse.
That hurt worse. 'Cause I was like, "That's pity."
Yeah, pity.
Hate me rather than pity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pity. Like, I remember one time, small audience, and a lady, there was like a table at 12, and that was like 85% of the audience. And I'm like, just like 2 minutes in, where you're like, gauging things, feeling
Sure.
things out, just kind of like throwing things out. She goes, come on.
Oh,
And I go,
man.
what's that? And she was like, just come on, he's helping you out.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, she was like,
You got it?
you got it. Yeah. And I was like,
Wow, that's
was like,
condescending.
oh
as
my
hell.
God.
I've never heard of that one.
That's
then
another level.
I fucking snapped.
Yeah.
And then they leave. And then the next day, the owner's like, did you call a lady a cunt? And like, I go, I don't think it went like that.
Yeah.
She's like, that was the whole show. That was them. They were the show. I was like, nah, it didn't go like that.
Right.
I had to like describe the situation.
There's always more to it. We're not just going, hey, cunt, hey,
Yeah,
bitch, hey.
of course.
Get out.
No, but if you don't, I've always said, if you don't have at least like a meltdown on stage every once in a while, at least in the early years,
Yeah.
you're not doing enough sets. Like, you should be melting down at some point.
Yeah, like somebody who doesn't have a horrific bombing story. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you haven't done that much stand-up then.
Right.
Yeah, and also like every once in a while you get a bomb where you're like, oh, I feel like I stink of fish for like a week.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like you're just like, wow, that was fucking like,
You can't shake it.
yeah, I remember a few at like Village Lantern or those rooms in the West Village where I was like, oh wow, this is
Brutal.
I remember I tried to fight a dude. I'm like, I can't fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how far he pushed me. I was like, you and me outside. And he was like, oh no. I just looked insane.
Yeah.
He ruined my set. It was like 6 people in there. He's heckling me. I'm like, I can't knock out a heckler when I'm bombing for 6 people.
Right.
I just have to take an L.
Well,
Yeah.
those sets, they tap into other things in you, like childhood and how much you hate yourself and
Yeah.
self-loathing.
And then it all comes out.
It all comes out.
Yeah, it all comes out.
What happened at Rooster T. Feathers?
It was that it was an exchange with, like, it was one of those, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 show weekend. And Sunday, they're like, we don't know if we should have the show because there's like 11 people here.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, all right, I mean, you tell me, right? And then they're like, we're having it. So I'm like, okay. And I got into some exchange with like a lady, but it was one of the things where like the waitress reported it. But she misreported like the exchange. Like she did like one one version of the exchange. I was like, no. And so like the email was from the owner, and she was like, I heard, you said like, I go, look, it started like, and I start telling her, she's like, my waitress said that you said this, and I'm like, you're hearing half of the story. She goes, and then she wrote like, I thought, and then she wrote in all caps, a headliner would know how to work like a show like this or whatever. So I forwarded it my time to my agent, and he was like, just don't respond. And I'm like, really? Like this feels like the thing to respond to.
Yeah.
He's like, no. I go, okay, well, I will never go there again. I've thought about doing it.
She didn't respond.
Well, we had a back and forth for a while, but like when she like then started to throw that in there, I was like, I go, you're literally telling it's like one side of this thing, and I go,
And they're
the
not
show-
siding with the fucking comic who's playing the venue.
Also, I'm like, the audience was on my side. Like I was trying to tell her like how like your server.
Was it 11 people in the crowd?
It was like, and like
Which is brutal, by the way, to end a weekend on.
it's the worst. But I'm like, the cheering was for me.
Yes.
On what I was saying to this person, and she's just like, I heard that you berated somebody, and I'm like, no.
That's what I go up and do is berate people. That's my act. Did you have it recorded at least?
Dude, it was so long ago. I mean, I don't remember. I really don't remember. It was so long ago. But
Damn. Not a great sign for a club when they just immediately assume the headliner sucks and he's a dick, and you're like, what are you doing here?
it was so long ago. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember that happened to me once at Comic Strip, which was like my home club starting out. But these 7 dudes were shit-faced. We'd go on at the end of the night, late night, and these dudes were just fucking with me. Like, just a bunch of bros being like, we're going to beat the shit out of you. And I was just like, I mean, Jesus Christ. I was like, you fucking pieces of shit. We're just going back at each other. And then someone runs back to get a bouncer in here. He's going to get the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
There's 7 of them. And the bouncer was like, they said they didn't do anything. I was like, you're signing with these dudes?
They said they didn't do anything. That's hilarious.
You're taking their word for it?
Did you ever work the Cleveland Improv?
Never.
No, I do hilarities always.
That's fucking
One of my top
Great
5
club.
clubs to me. I love Nick. I love Sam.
Nick's the best.
It's the best club.
Cleveland Improv can be
It's rough.
Is that urban?
And primarily, but
You're doing your one rock there.
I was doing my, but I remember I was in the back of the showroom.
Yeah.
And the feature's on stage, and there's like a table because the room has a weird layout, but there's a table like near the back of like a big table, like 12, and they're having a full conversation, right? Like full, just like, afterwards we like just like that, and it's during the show. So I stand next to the wall, one of the security guys, I go, hey, and I point to the table, like, address that.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you want me to say? And I go, stop talking.
Right.
And he's like, I don't want to do that. Like he's just like scared of the table. I mean, that's one of those clubs where they have a police officer in the at the bar fixed.
Jesus.
Like he's there every show. Saw a guy get arrested there.
Wow.
Because he didn't want to pay for the it said 1 pound of wings on the menu. He goes, that wasn't a pound.
He's like, I know a pound of wings.
I know a pound. And they're like, it's the fucking pre-frozen weight.
Yes.
And he's like, nah. And so they're like, look, man, it's $12. And he's like, I'm not paying for that. And so they bring him into the showroom. It's like my weekend. And they bring him into the lobby area. And the cop goes, he told me the story. He goes, I told him, you can either pay for this or I have to arrest you. And he just goes,
whoa.
Wow.
Got arrested.
What?
He's like, the
respect
principle is that this is not a pound of wings.
I almost respect that, dude.
I know.
That's crazy.
I was at the Dayton Funny Bone, this is years ago. I had an opener black guy, and this one guy was in the crowd heckling, whatever, and then he wouldn't pay the bill. He was like, you guys gave me free tickets, so I thought the whole thing was free. Like, I thought the beer was free, the booze, the food was free. And
Also, we got your Uber home, too.
yeah, exactly.
Everything. It's
You'll
on
get
us.
your rent and your mortgage.
It's a
and all
good
this.
business practice. We have.
Yeah, he's like, you said free show. That's a free show, you know? I got food, drinks, and they were like, sir, come on. We're going to have to call the police. And he's like, call him. And it was getting weird. And the opener paid. And I was like, why are you paying for this guy? He's like, black guilt. Because it was a black guy, he was a black guy, and he felt weird. And that was the first time I heard black guilt.
Damn.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
weird.
Yeah.
very strange.
Shout out to that guy.
I thought it was going to be like, I just don't want the show to get derailed.
No,
That's crazy.
no, this is after the show. It's just us sitting there with that guy. Like, I'm not leaving. Call the cops.
That was, I mean, some of those clubs. I remember like Hyenas. There was a club in Texas, and they just they basically banned me because they wouldn't. The show would start like an hour and a half late. And I would say, like, you guys can't start the show an hour and a half late. Like, it was like a 10:30 show starting like 11:40. And I was like, I'm going on at 12:20.
Crazy.
You know? So I was kind of like, you guys got to not do that. And then I would just go up there and I would trash the club on stage. And then the guy emailed my agent and was like, if you don't drop him, I'll never book one of your clients again. And she didn't have my back enough.
Right.
She should have had my back more. She was kind of like, you need to apologize. I was like, he needs to apologize. You know, he said like they would do like a blowjob shot before they'd bring you on stage.
Yeah.
And that made me crazy.
The worst.
Because I guess it would, yeah, whatever.
No, I know exactly because I told them, I go, you have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
It makes me.
And they go, the manager was like, he goes, hey, can I, why are you saying, like, I go, you're derailing. First of all, it's a circus act. And I go, I have the feature who just killed.
Right.
And you're just ruining the momentum of this show.
Completely.
Exactly.
By this. And I'm like, this is horrible. And he goes, I'll never forget this. He goes, you're the only person I've ever heard complain about this. And
Not true.
I go, no.
Because Rachel Feinstein called me complaining about it. I call it complaining. I mean,
I told him, I go, I might be the only person that has ever said it to your face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I go, but this is horrible. And then he's like, well, the thing is, the people who do that paid like $50 to do it. So it covers my MC for the week. And I'm like,
whoa, I'll give you the 50.
Dude, yeah. Like, I don't.
also just pay your fucking comics.
Just pay for it.
Yeah.
Not based on a freak show.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I
Oof.
remember they were. Oh, that drove me crazy. And I was making jokes about it on stage, and he goes, "This is a family business." I was like, "You're doing a blowjob shot."
Yeah. Nightmare.
Family business.
Yeah.
What does that matter? So is Epstein. I guess not.
I don't think that's true.
That was no family
Menendez
involved.
brothers.
There you go.
Family business?
The Duggar.
Yeah.
What about that guy?
I don't know.
Was that something?
I don't know.
Duggar? Yeah. He had 8 kids, right?
Yeah.
That's family. All right. What time's Colbert?
I don't know.
They're not picking you up?
Yeah, they're picking me up.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
Do you rock a suit on there or no?
I brought options. I have a suit, but I have like a casual attire option too. I'll just feel it out.
Feels
Yeah.
weird doing comedy in a suit.
It does, and then I feel like I feel like wearing like more like what we wear, or like what you have in the
Yeah.
photo there. Like it just feels like more like, all right. I feel like being funny like this.
Yes.
Right. Like in a suit, you kind of feel like I'm like a banker or something.
Yeah. Whenever I do one of those late nights, I always have to know who else is on. That's
Yeah.
so exciting to
Do you
me.
know who else you're on with?
Yeah, it's the 40th anniversary of the Watergate
jeez.
story.
Woodward
so-
and Bernstein?
Yeah, they're on.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
They're fucking amazing.
Yeah. So
damn.
two amazing writers, or excuse me, 3 now, because them and me, I have a new book.
There
And
we
so-
go.
Wasn't one of them married to Nora Ephron?
That I don't know.
Whoa.
I think one of them's married to...
That's
fact
pretty
check
cool.
that.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be. We'll see. How old are those guys now?
They got to be
Gotta
up
be late
there.
70s, 80s.
Yeah.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Carl Bernstein.
Look at that.
Wow. A
think-
second husband.
It's the one who Dustin Hoffman played.
Oh, really?
All the President's Men.
Whoa.
That's exciting, man. That's a cool... You got to get a story with them.
Yeah.
What? Any memories of like a late night show where you're on with like a really cool guest who you chat with?
I mean, trying to remember.
I saw Brad Pitt was at your show recently. That's pretty.
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. What was that about?
That was rad.
Is that insane?
He's the coolest.
That is insane. That
It's
is
Brad
insane.
Pitt.
It's the fucking craziest.
Like we're not the type to get Star Trek, but it's fucking Brad Pitt.
It is wild when they go. My tour manager, he leans into the dressing room and he goes, "Hey, Brad's here," and I was like, "All right," because I knew it was happening, and I'm like, and then he just comes in, he's like, "Hey,"
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
and he's like, "Dude, I'm a big fan," and all this, and I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "So this is what you do?"
Ah.
Like, because like there was like a Laker game on, and he's like, "You just listen to music and watch basketball." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you sound like the best person to do the road with.
Yeah, I was like, he
Wow.
goes,
Oops.
Till that trainer comes in.
"Yeah."
No, that's I want that. That sounds
great.
fucking
But
awesome.
That'd be great if Brad walked in and you're like, can you give me a minute?
Oh no!
Not now.
You know what? He's funny. He goes. So he's hanging out for a few minutes. And he goes, "Well, do do you need to prepare? And I go, I'm prepared. He's like, oh, okay. And then we just like, you know, they go, all right, you know, I go, I'm gonna go announce the opener. This was cool too, as like just a fan of the arts, I guess, is that I go, I'm gonna introduce the opening act, which is Ryan Sickler that night. And he goes, oh, cool. Ryan. He goes, I want to watch.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't go, I'll just wait here. He's like, I want to watch the whole show.
Yeah.
So I introduced Ryan, and they took him to his seat.
Yeah.
And it was great because it was February, so a lot of people still a lot of masks. So I was like, oh, because I was like, can you go anywhere? Like, you're fucking Brad Pitt. And he goes, check this out. And so his hair's tucked into a bucket hat.
Yep.
And, you know, he's got like a jacket on, and then he has an oversized mask. So he goes like this, and you literally,
Oh, wow.
you see that, and you're like, oh, yeah. I don't know who the fuck that is. And Sickler goes, looks like Chad Pitt to me. And I was like, but yeah, it was
Not
like, yeah.
They must have like low key kind of liked the pandemic. Some people that had famous.
Oh,
that famous, yeah. You know, I was. You ever have a mask on? Someone's like, "Hey, Mark," and you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, you feel like it's weird. But then I was at a coffee place in L.A. and everyone had masks on. I turned, I'm like, oh, it's Ben Affleck. Like, you just
Wow.
right, because like immediately too. Like,
Oh, with my eyebrows,
he's masked on. Yeah,
they're gonna know.
They're gonna know. Yeah,
Yeah. 3 things I love about Brad Pitt. One, I saw him get interviewed, and they said, what do you like? He goes, one of my favorite things is Monty Python. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
2, when he did the fucking Jim Jeffries show, he was the weatherman.
That was great.
And then the coolest, the 3rd thing, I was watching Jackass in high school, and they push a guy in like a chicken suit or something in a shopping cart, and he slams into a wall, and the thing flips over, and the head pops off. It's Brad Pitt.
Crazy.
I was like, this is the coolest guy of all
You
time.
heard him on Maron's podcast. He's just like, you know, he's like, oh, I love Maron on IFC. You're like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Amazing.
like, you know, you see like those dudes. Like I can't help but rewatch the South Park movie all the time. It's like
Yeah.
my favorite movie ever, probably.
Team America or Uncut?
Uncut.
Oh, yeah.
I love Team America too, but
Yeah.
Uncut is like my favorite thing. Like the fact that they fucking stuck the landing on a musical is the
Yes.
dumbest thing. That it's
Those
that
guys are
brilliant.
amazing.
But then you're just like, oh, George Clooney's just in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's so
the
fucking
dog.
And then
hilarious.
he's the reason that South Park is even in existence.
I
Wait,
heard that.
what?
Yeah, he passed their tape around to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. So
right?
like
Clooney?
Clooney,
Yeah.
Clooney. This is like 1997. He got the tape of it and was like, He gave it to like the Viacom people.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Comedy Central people.
Yeah, like a Christmas tape or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
he was the
that-
reason. So they've always had like a connection.
Wow. How do you like that? I couldn't. I thought I couldn't like Clooney more.
No,
and he
he's
has a
awesome.
tequila.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. I heard this. I don't know if this is true, but when you did your first Netflix special, it was when Comedy Central was still kind of big. And did Comedy Central say no to you? And you were like,
Yeah.
is that true?
yeah. I have like a whole chapter about it in the book, but about the like it's all about like road stuff and about like how I don't know things happen. And I'm like, I remember that I had done Live at Gotham, which was like
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
10-minute set thing.
Yeah, that was big.
Then I did Comedy Central Presents, which was like you felt like this is like how to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we grew up on.
That's what we grew up on.
Hedberg
Dane
and
Cook.
Dane
Yeah.
Cook.
All those
Sports.
guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I did that, and then this is a few years later now. So I'm like, I was like, we're talking about you're ready. I'm like, I'm ready to do this hour. So we shoot. Oh well, I want them. They want to come see it. So I do this thing. I do Flappers in Burbank,
Oh, quit bragging.
but it's a nice like small room.
It's a solid
and
room.
And
I
I
like
get it
it.
filled up because with the podcast at the time, I just have enough juice to go like, if you want to come to this, I'll give you. Like I want it to be fans and like free tickets. I'm not trying to sell them.
Yeah.
And it's packed. And like I go up there, I run the hour. It goes great. So I'm like, hey,
And this is a bunch of people out or just Comedy Central people?
just Comedy Central, like 3 Comedy Central executives come to the show. And then, I talked to my manager like a couple days later. I'm like, what's the word? And they're like, they thought it was good. And I'm like, okay.
I know this call.
And then, but like, they didn't want to, I'm like, all right. So then I get a deal to shoot it on spec at the time. So like, we'll shoot it and then shop it. Mm-hmm. So again, we send it to them. Like now it's like, here, it's it's shot now, you know. So like,
Yeah.
and
it's a little demoralizing, this fucking tap dance you have to do.
Oh, of course. Yeah, very much so. And then the craziest part was I go, well, the feedback was, what's the theme?
Oh,
And I was
funny.
funny.
Funny is the theme.
It's jokes. It's a bunch of jokes.
Yeah.
And then I started to go, well, what's the theme? When I started to name people, I'm like, what are those themes?
exactly.
And then he's like, yeah. I mean, he was just like, look, I mean, it's just no.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know, HBO. I go, you sent it to HBO? Like, I couldn't believe that people
Yeah.
at the time, that was
Sure.
a crazy thing to do. I was like, why would you send it to HBO? That's like Carlin. And,
Right.
And then he's like, well, yeah. And then, you know, we sent it here, sent it there. And he goes, Netflix said they would acquire it. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Because at the time, it was kind of like, Netflix? Really?
The DVD
This
mail thing?
And I remember he's like, well, Burr said it's like really doing something for him. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, it was really like, I pulled over I was like, so it's going to be on Netflix? He's like, it's going to be on Netflix.
Wow.
And I was like, all right. That was 2013.
Holy
and that
shit.
really, I mean, that changed everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, it came out in 2014. I would say, I remember it came out in March of 2014. And like in June, I did the Cleveland Improv. And I remember at the end of the week, the guy Lee who runs it, he goes, I don't know why, but you hit bonuses. I cannot figure it out. And I'm like, all right. And then
Also, people paid for their wings this time.
they
This
bought
is
their
crazy.
wings.
A whole pound.
And then by the end of that year, I was selling out clubs. And then by the next year, we were doing like kind of like rock clubs and stuff like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Wow. That's
And
fun.
also, I heard you blew up on Pandora too, because you have albums in heavy rotation. I mean, that's how I discovered you. Is I would listen to your albums, and I was like, oh shit, this is a cool way to discover comedians. It was kind of
Right.
like it opened the door because
You're right.
you were an old school comic where like you talk about the influence of Attell and those guys,
Yeah.
but like you were like one of the last guys I feel like I discovered from albums.
I think you're right, because I used to go. Then you would make assumptions, so people would come. Like I'd have a sold out club or something, and I would still be like selling my CD or whatever afterwards. So you
Yeah.
meet people leaving, and I would always go like, oh, Netflix, and like a whole bunch of people would be like Pandora. Pandora.
interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
I did Hattiesburg, Mississippi. This is probably 2016.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, and I was like, half full, and I was like, hey, Hattiesburg, half full? I'm coming up in the world. And they're like, well, Segura was here last week. He sold out 2 shows. I'm like, who? I didn't know. It wasn't a who, but it was like, really? I didn't know you were that big to sell out Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
That was like a drive, not a far drive from New Orleans. So that was a big deal. I was like, wow, this guy is coming up if he can sell here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing with like now with like this tour that I'm on, we really, I call it the I'm Coming Everywhere World Tour. And we do like, we've done I've done on this tour so far over 200 shows.
Jesus
and like,
Christ.
I don't know how many cities, but it's a lot of cities. And I've done cities I've never done before.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Any pleasant surprises where you're like, oh, this is like a cool city?
dude, honestly, a bunch, but it's always like related to the show. You know what I mean? Like, because we don't really, you don't do
Right.
that much city exploring.
That's true.
Because you're in and out.
You're just in and out, but like you're like, I wonder how the show will be tonight. And you're in Greenville or Evansville,
Right.
and you're like, oh, I don't know. And then you have like this kind of like rock star show, and you're like, holy fucking shit,
Oh, yeah.
But I also feel like, I'm sure you experience the same, that like when you go to the smaller markets, sometimes they're like so appreciative
Yes.
of the show.
Thank you for coming
Right?
here.
Yeah, or like, New York, they're like, yeah, of course you're doing a show here.
Right.
This is New York.
Right.
Like-
L.A., forget about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But sometimes those smaller cities, like as you said, to work out, you're like, they're the best because
Yeah.
they're forgiving.
Yeah.
And then in like a bigger city, they're like there is almost a sense of entitlement sometimes. You're like, bring it.
Yeah. And you live in New York, you might know 8 hilarious dudes. I feel like if you live in Evansville, there's
Yeah.
like one funny guy in the town.
Oh, in New York, they're like, yeah, we came here over Hamilton. You better
Exactly.
fucking bring it. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chappelle's in town, or Rock's in
Yeah.
town, and I'm coming to see you.
And everyone in this city is like fun. Like the guy working the fucking
Yes.
door is funny. you know?
Exactly. the bagel guy's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a funny energy about New York. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I talk about this all the time, but like one of my favorite movies ever is the original Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, because it's literally a hijacking on the train, and instead of being like worried, everyone's just like, all right,
Yeah.
what? You know,
Right.
It's like so New York to me. I just love that New York like energy. Dude, I can't believe you wrote a book. This is crazy.
I know, and I
On top of everything you're doing, you wrote a fucking book.
which was so much more work than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah,
and everybody told me too. All comics were like, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
yeah, no, it sounds like an insane amount of work.
Yeah,
And comics don't want you to have a thing we don't have.
right,
You know?
right. Yeah, no, but it was a lot of work. I'm super happy it's out. I had brought copies to like bring to all these things, and then I left them all on my tour bus right before the play.
I want to read it, dude. I'll
That's comedy.
I'll send them to you. I'll send you guys
Please,
copies.
put it up in the studio.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
dude. So it's essays.
Yeah, it's like stories and essays. Good one. Oh wow,
Ooh,
Sorry,
wow, that's-
sorry.
That was
good. Thanks for leaning the other way. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
no, that was cool.
wanted to help
Thanks for
out the
thanks for
guest.
pushing it this way.
Well, I
Thanks.
know you better.
Yeah, no, I appreciate.
Yeah, stories and essays. Yeah, and that's that title is because that's the first full sentence my first son said to me. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like I sat down.
It's a great
next to him.
title.
Yeah. And he was like, "I would like to play alone, please." I was like, "Okay, cool, man."
What made you go like the essay route over? Like, I'm sure people like you. They came to you with a book proposal, and you were like, "This is."
Well, they were like, they were telling me like, "Oh, comedians have written, humorous things," and I was like, "Well." They go, "What would you write?" And I was telling them like, it's like basically stories, right? The time that this happened, the time that,
Right.
I shared a condo on the road with a 600-pound man. Like I'm telling them these stories.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Well, write, give us a writing sample." So then I wrote, I think like 10,000 words, and then sent that in like different stories, and they're like, "Yes, you could do a book like this style." So then, and then I have like these interstitial things about flights. Where I've sat next to celebrities, but it's all black celebrities. Chris Tucker, Bruce, Serena Williams.
We talk about Chris Tucker
Mike
on here a
Tyson.
lot too.
You do?
We love Tucker.
Money Talks, Friday, Rush Hour.
Dude,
like,
my
he
Chris
ran the
Tucker
90s.
story is it is one of my favorite ones because I am sitting next to him and I don't say anything to him.
Chris Tucker.
He's right next to me, right? And I had seen him at the gate and I didn't say anything there.
Wow.
And we're just sitting there like, and as the plane is taking off, and we're both facing forward, I just hear him in his very distinct voice. He goes, "Should I do another Rush Hour?"
To himself?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, he's definitely talking to I saw him talking to the guy who's behind me now at the gate. Yeah. So I'm like, he must be talking to that guy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then I just turn and he's just looking at me. And
Oh,
I'm like,
my
"You're asking
God.
me, dude?" So I go, "I don't know, man." Like, this is like verbatim. I go,
What?
I go, "I don't know." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I was in Beijing last week." He goes, "I'm walking through the streets. I see Jackie Chan." And he goes, "What are you doing here?" I go, "I'm here to see you." And I go, "Sounds like the next Rush Hour to me." And he goes, "I think you're right." And then I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna." He starts like writing back. I go, "You just consulted with me on how to do this or whether to do this?"
Was he aware of you being a comedian and all that?
I tell him next. I go, "Yeah." I go, "I did this show," because we were actually on an amphitheater show the night before, but never met. He closed out the first half. It was 20,000 people.
Wow.
And I
this
arrived.
Oddball or something? What was
it was
this?
like it was like a one-off thing.
Okay.
But it was like Chappelle, and I never met him. I didn't even see him. They just were like, Chris Tucker was here, but I didn't since I didn't meet him, I didn't start by I just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
And then I go, "Yeah, I was on that show last night." He goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." I go, "I did the second half." And I go, "I did like way later, and I heard you did great," that kind of thing. And then he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I got this thing on Netflix." And I go, "Yeah, I have things on Netflix." He goes, "For real?" And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "So now you're done." I go, "So now you're going to see your ticket sales are going to go up, and you just got to go work out that new hour." And he's like, "Where?" And I go, "In clubs." He goes, "What kind of clubs?" I'm like, "Comedy clubs."
Wasn't he a comedian?
Yeah, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Which ones?" I go, I start like,
wow.
You're explaining comedy to Chris Tucker?
I'm like telling him the
That's
clubs,
amazing.
and then he goes, "Will you send me that list?" I go, "Of the nation's comedy
I
clubs?"
see him at clubs sometimes. I see his poster up now.
Yeah.
Really?
I was just at the Charlotte Comedy Zone,
And
and
then
then like Chris Tucker's face.
He's
is
like,
Wow.
he gave me his phone number.
Wow.
He's like, so I text him. I'm like, "You need to go to like here, and here." He's like, "All right, thanks, man." Like,
has he done your mom's house?
no,
You got to get him on, dude.
I know.
Well,
that would be
the
amazing.
worst part is you ate a star and none of that happened.
Yeah, it was the best, dude.
Wow,
he
that's
is
incredible.
He is one of the funniest people. I mean,
Naturally.
So funny.
Dude,
Gifted.
he would like be falling in Rush Hour, and the noise he would yell out would be like comic perfection. He's so great.
Yeah, he
I love
Friday.
the bloopers at the end where he's like, Jackie. And they're like, his name is not Jackie in the movie. He's like over and over.
And when he's on the phone, who the hell you think you kidnapped? Kelsey Grammer? It's like, it's Chelsea Clinton.
That's great.
Just like yelling at him.
Yeah, he's the best, dude.
No, dude,
funny.
we're huge fans. I mean, he's
Fifth
hey, man,
Element, he's great.
If someone wants to tag Chris Tucker, we'd kill to have you on. We might be drunk.
Please.
We love you. We'll get you drunk.
I used to watch Comic View as a kid, and every comic would literally do a Michael Jackson, but his was always the best. He had the best Michael Jackson.
Rush Hour 2, and he's just doing...
Yes!
They were probably just like, yeah, he can do Michael Jackson. Just write it into the
Write
script.
it in. Sure.
I forgot he'd on Netflix. I think he's wearing a polka dot suit. Am I nuts?
I don't know.
Pull that up if you can. I swear to God, he's
Who
wearing a polka
who
dot
else?
suit.
Any other flight people that are just...
Mike Tyson?
Yeah, how
Mike
was it sitting next to Tyson?
Serena Williams,
Whoa!
Bruce.
What are you flying? Urban Air?
I know, right?
What is
I
this?
fly Soul Plane, bro. What the fuck? I know, it's so crazy, right? Oh, Jill Scott.
Oh,
and the funniest is
wow.
that I write the chapter about Jill Scott, and then at Pete's thing at the garden, I'm backstage and I go, I think that's Jill Scott over there. And I just written the chapter about her, and the chapter starts, I go, I think the first line is Jill Scott hates salmon. Because we were on a flight and they're like, would you like, the salad or the salmon? She was like, I don't, no salmon. And I started talking to her about salmon. And I was like, you really should try it. And I was trying to tell her how to eat it. So I go over to her and I'm like, hey, we flew together from LA to Nashville 7 years ago. And I start telling, she's like, okay. And I go, here's my proof that we did this. I'm not making this up. She's like, go ahead. And I go, you hate salmon. She goes, I don't fuck with anything pink.
Damn.
Wow.
All right, maybe I was wrong with the polka dot suit.
No,
There it
you're
is.
right.
Polka dot shirt.
Polka dot
All right.
shirt.
That's all I remembered. Sorry. Wow, no salmon. I love salmon.
No, I know, I love salmon too.
Dude, I think
So
I saw
good
Money
for you,
Talks
too.
in the theater 3 times.
Whoa.
Maybe at least twice.
Yeah.
One of the funniest fucking...
He's outrageously funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the coolest.
Yeah.
Damn. He'll be missed. I'm just kidding. We're talking about it like he's dead. He's still around. He'll be in the movie.
What was your favorite part about writing the book?
I mean, fucking being done, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it is? I was just telling this yesterday that, you know, when you watch a special of yours, like you're doing the edit, there's like a bit, you'll be like, I really like this bit.
Yeah.
Like essentially you're proud of it. You're like, I'm very proud of this bit. This is good. And then some of the other ones you're like, I don't know. It's the
Right.
same feeling. Like with the book,
Interesting.
you're like, this is a good story. This chapter is good. I like the wordplay, like the whole thing. It's funny, it's engaging. And then, you know, you're like, I wish I could fucking rewrite this chapter
Right.
or cut this one. It's the same kind of feeling, you know.
Interesting.
But you feel more vulnerable because you don't get to perform the way that it's received. You're like,
Yes.
it's just the written word. So like when you hand it in, you're like you're like white, you know, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just like, oh my
Are you texting lines to comics? Are you running stuff by Christina? Like
No,
none of that.
None of that. But I'm giving it to a really great publisher, editor, and a book agent, and like who I'm working with so much that like their notes are like it's like getting stand-up notes from a comic. You're like, these are really good notes.
Yeah.
So immediately, like when they were like, this is a great chapter, I was like, okay, thank God, because you'd hand it and be like, is this the worst thing you've ever written? Or
Is there
read?
anything you read to be like, this is how this is like the style that's right for essays?
No, because I mean, I don't read a lot now. Like I had.
Yeah, you're busy as
Yeah,
hell.
I mean, I remember reading a couple of comedians' books like a while ago, and I remember reading like humor writing story, and I just wanted it to be like stories that were like engaging and funny and like, you know, specific to the way that I write. So once I was like, you know, telling a story about living in Florida and going to visit someone and with my sister, and then she sees something out in a field and makes me turn around. I don't want to turn around. So it's like, you know, how I write that story. And then we finally go and it's a body that was in a field.
Oh,
and
wow.
A motorcycle was like nearby. So a guy clearly, so it's like that whole kind of story. But like when I read the final draft, I was like, oh, I like this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's like it has like elements of surprise. It's like it's good storytelling.
Yeah.
And has funny stuff in it. So like things like that would make me feel. I was like, oh, this is what I want the book to be full of.
Yes.
Stories like this.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up reading sign language. Remember that when I read Couplehood?
Yeah.
Underrated. It's what's his face? Paul Reiser's book.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, really?
killer. Yeah, it's great. I
Yeah.
read it, when I was like 18.
David
I loved it.
Sedaris, Me Talk Pretty One
Sedaris,
Day.
I read all that.
Those are funny as hell.
I remember. I don't remember the name of it or which one, but I definitely read a Jim Norton.
Oh, it was Happy Endings.
Was that it?
Great.
Fantastic.
Great
really?
book.
Yeah.
So funny.
He's really, really
I love
talented.
Norton. We love
He's a
Norton.
funny guy,
Yeah.
smart
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Too Fat to Fish is good.
Artie.
Yeah.
Artie
That was
Lang.
incredible. Yeah, I mean, the shit about his dad is heartbreaking. I mean, Artie is one of the funniest humans
Yeah.
ever.
Do you see him still? Do you see him around?
It's been forever.
He used to come around.
I used to go to his house and watch My 600-Pound Life, and just him narrating it in Hoboken, just riffing. I'm like, I will never hear anything funnier.
No,
than
he's
Artie
so
Lang
quick.
riffing on My 600-Pound Life. The funniest dude.
Yeah.
Dude, are you a Miami Heat fan?
No, that was like, I mean, Miami was kind of close to where I was in Florida, but
I thought you were a big NBA guy.
no, I mean, I like the NBA. I'm a big college football fan.
You were a football player too, right?
I mean, high school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you were Ohio.
I was born in Ohio.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, my
But like,
bad.
I went to high school in Florida. So, and I went to high school in Florida in the '90s, and that was when like Florida State, and Miami were just like, it was like that was all of college football. That's all that mattered. I mean, they literally
Football
were
is
either-
your number one sport.
Yeah, but those three schools were either competing for or winning the national championship. I mean, literally 91 winning one for Miami, 92 one of them lost, 93 Florida State won, 94 I think Florida lost, 95 they won, 96 like literally every single year they were either in it or winning it. One of the three schools. So it became like, and then if you're in high school and you're around that, you're playing that sport, it becomes kind of like everyone's obsession. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention the pro. I mean, you had Dan Marino was the
Yeah.
guy. He was even in Ace Ventura.
Yeah, for sure it was.
What have you had a lot of big athletes at your shows? I thought I saw you posting something about that recently.
Yeah. They've been coming out.
Who do you get?
Joe Burrow just came, the Cincinnati
That's what I
Bengals
was
quarterback.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Oh, he's sexy.
yeah,
Cool dude.
cool dude. And then
He's
he
the
was
man.
like, he goes, you want to come over to the house after? And I was like, and my uncle and aunt were at the show. I was like, hey, we're not going to hang out for dinner afterwards. They're in their 80s. I was like, I might not see you again.
I see black guys posting about how cool he is, and I'm like, this guy's made it. That's the ultimate.
He's swaggy for sure.
So
And
swag.
I happen to, we're in Cincinnati. We're staying across the street from this, like the urban wear store, and we go in there. We all I bought like a Coogee shirt, and then I wear it to the show. And then he comes to that show, and he walks up to me. He's like, "You're wearing shit that I would wear, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude."
Damn.
But he was, he was rad, and so nice.
They all want to be comics too, which
Yeah.
is fun because obviously we'd like to be a pro athlete, but
We skipped dinner, and he goes, "My chef made these if you guys want to eat these." Yeah. We were like, yeah,
Wow.
sure, man.
What did his chef make?
Really good food, like a paella,
Ooh.
a chicken dish with like yeah. Dude.
Who's
There he is.
do you have a pro football team or no?
Well, I mean, I'm from Cincy originally, so I'm like, I was.
he's
I'm
your
happy.
guy.
I mean, yeah, but I have to admit that when I left as a kid, I left the year they went to the Super Bowl in '88, and we were so gung ho on the Bengals, and they entered such a depression era, like a run of being horrific, that it was tough to stay like go Bengals when you're watching them go 3-13 for like a decade.
Right.
So I just kind of like lost interest in it, honestly.
Yeah.
Damn.
Joe Burr.
Look at that fucking jacket.
Top gun looking dude.
Yeah, dude.
Look
Love
at
it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That
he's
looks
the
like
man.
a
He's the
TV out
man,
of
dude.
focus.
He's so good, dude.
You do have to win when you dress like that,
You
though.
do.
You can't show up like that and not win.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he, has like insecurities.
Right.
It seems so confident, but we're all human. He's at home like, geez, I suck.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe that's just me.
No, I think everybody does. Everybody does. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all, sharded and
Yeah.
said something
dude.
stupid.
Even like the guy who you think is the coolest fucking guy ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Pitt is sharded.
Yeah.
He's sharded.
He has.
He's sharded
That's
for sure.
nice. He had a night he couldn't get it up.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
He probably ate can't get it up because he's so out of cum, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way.
It's a good reason to not get it up.
Yeah, like, dude, come on. That's 4 loads.
sorry.
I'm 58.
I'm running on empty. I can't.
Imagine being tired of fucking Angelina Jolie. At some point, he was like, I'm good. I'd rather watch the game.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's when you've made it.
Yeah.
It happens.
That's why they adopted. He was out of cum.
He was.
That's a lot of kids. Yeah. Now you got. I want to have kids one day. I think.
You do?
And you have 2.
I have 2 boys, yeah.
This is news to me as well. I didn't know
Well, you don't want kids at all?
Maybe. I don't know, but I've never heard you say it out loud.
Wait, have you tied the knot? Are you...
November, so I got a few months.
Okay, so it's happening, though.
Oh, yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I'm
Where are you
going
going to do
for
it? Are you going to do it in New Orleans? You are? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, she's from Massachusetts, so it's like,
Yeah.
too
And November
boring.
in New Orleans will be nice.
That's the only good month.
Yeah.
It's either sweltering heat with humidity or hurricanes.
I'm psyched. I'm psyched for the wedding, man.
It's going to be fun.
And
So-
you going to do babies, you think, or no?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I got to have a woman first, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's a virgin.
Yeah, nice.
Never fucked a woman.
It's nice. You got to try it. It's great.
Dude, I
pretty
heard
good.
it's good. I'm
Pretty good.
I'm excited to try.
Yeah.
Use your dick.
I'm gonna fuck a woman with my dick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's nice.
Where'd you tie the knot? Did you do L.A.?
No.
Go piss.
I did the Bahamas.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you're that guy who's like, hey, I'm getting married in the Bahamas, and every comic has to be like,
You know what's great
destination?
is that, like, it was... it gets everybody to something like that you'd want to be there.
It
'Cause
weeds them out.
It really weeds them out.
that's a good point.
So it was like 3 or 4 days or 5, however many days we were there, 35 people. But they're like all the people you'd want to.
right. It's the VIPs.
It's the VIPs.
That's good.
It's
but
kind of great.
did you do the beach like barefoot, that whole thing?
No, it couldn't because my parents are way hardcore Catholic, and they're like, you don't do a fucking beach wedding.
Oh, shit.
So we had to go to the church.
What?
Yeah, like the little old school church in this little Bahamian town.
That's pretty cool.
It was kind of cool. It was in Eleuthera, the island of Eleuthera, and then, but yeah, then immediately you go back to the place, and then everybody hangs out. Yeah,
Damn, I went to Catholic school. Did you?
yeah,
Oh, really?
oh yeah.
I grew up unreligious, but I was fucking up, so my parents like, you got to go to Catholic school and like get your shit together.
Were they Catholic? Like
No, atheists. Like my parents are old hippie weirdos, but they were like, you're a piece of shit kid, so you need a little bit of some
Structure?
diddling.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
And then
it was all new to me.
Was it good for you?
Not really. I mean, it was like they drug tested. It was uniforms. It was
Yeah.
it was disciplinarian. It was rough.
You told me the story. Like I think you said you were 16 or 17, and your dad found you like just hammered. Or
Yeah,
something?
I told you about that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Found me shit faced, and I had my first like big job interview that morning, and I was like, and he threw me in the shower
That's
with
right.
clothes on,
Yeah.
turned it on, and yelled at me.
Yeah.
And
What do they think now, though? You're like this successful comedian, and they're like, yeah, you fucked off as a kid, but now you have like a real career.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Really? You guys you've never heard them?
They don't
comment on it?
show. They don't emote.
Really?
Yeah, they're military. I don't know. They're nice. They're good parents, but there's not a lot of like, good on you, kid.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm striving for.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's you're totally
Maybe.
yeah.
What about you? You got decent parents?
Yeah, I mean, they were. I mean, my dad was very, very supportive.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he was like a big cheerleader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was real excited about everything that like.
Even the early, open mic, embarrassing shit.
Yeah, he was really like down for going for it. You know?
Damn,
And he
that's
was, like-
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Was your mom supportive as well?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but she was like, I remember her being like, you should get a job at the post office. And I was like, why? And she goes, so you have security, and then at night you can do your shows. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go to the post office. I was like, I'm doing this. I mean, I was really struggling.
Dude, your videos with your mom are so funny.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She's really funny. She's really funny.
And
Like,
you did fluent Spanish.
it's pretty good. I mean, it was really good at one point. It definitely was going away because I wasn't using it.
Yeah.
And then I started to use it again. It's come back a good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it will go away if you don't.
Oh, I spoke French as a kid. It's basically all gone.
Really? You
It's
did?
sad, yeah.
And
I was
why
in
did you
French immersion.
Oh.
you know, from New Orleans. It's very French there.
Yeah, sure.
And my dad's French, and it fizzles
Is your
out.
dad's French?
Well, it's normal. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like Louisiana French.
Okay.
You know, it's not. We're not like eating bread and smoking cigarettes and drinking wine.
No, I have a lot of French blood.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like my dad's middle name was Nadeau. His mother was French Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a good bit.
French culture is so cool.
It's so rad.
It's just
It's
like
pretty
cool.
great.
And it is the thing is, you know what? It's so seductive is that they don't fucking want you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
Jews,
you're
we're
like-
out there recruiting.
you're
Oh,
like,
we're not recruiting, rather.
right.
And I think that gives the Judaism thing, like when people come to us, they really want it.
Absolutely.
You know, and the same with the French. They couldn't give a fuck about anyone
they're
else.
like,
No,
Get the fuck outta here,
my
you
dad
know?
does not give a fuck about me. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's true. Yeah, French
No, the
people.
movie, the old French
They don't give a
new
fuck.
wave movies are so sexy. The
Yes.
cigarettes, the fact that they drink all day and none of them are fat.
Yeah.
I know.
Except for Gerard. Have you seen Gerard Depardieu?
He looks like Bert. It's crazy.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Dude, it's his nose is like it's crazy when you drink so
wild.
much. Your
Do you
nose
remember
gets
when
bigger.
he was on that flight
Oh,
and he pissed in the aisle?
Yes.
He was so
Legend.
drunk. He on a fucking commercial flight gets up and just like, and they're like, "What?" Are you? And it's Gerard Depardieu. He's like, "No, no." And then he puts out a statement like, "I apologize."
Do you see that he claims he drinks 12 bottles of wine a day?
It looks like it,
12,
bro.
Damn.
It looks.
That's a lot in a week.
He looks rough.
Pull him up.
Pull him up. Pull up Gerard Depardieu. Just make sure you write now.
I can't name one movie he's in. Holy shit! Look at that.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a big man. He's gone like Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Look at that photo with the nose.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
that
Looks like Kathy and Jimmy. Holy shit.
looks like he ate Mario Batali.
Right there with the overalls.
Oh, the
You don't
suspenders.
see, you don't see Bert. You don't
I
honestly.
can
don't-
see it. Yeah, Bert fucked Diaz.
That is crazy.
Holy shit.
He is not a healthy
Look
looking
how
man.
handsome he used to be. Is that him on the
Yeah, no, he was a hunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Well, I remember Brando. I mean,
Oh.
that's the ultimate.
Smoking.
Young Brando.
smoke show.
Fuck, what's not Streetcar, the one where he's on the docks.
Streetcar.
The one-
Oh, Waterfront.
on the waterfront, he's like one of the hottest dudes ever.
Ever. And
The
then
lips?
He turned into a goddamn balloon. He was like the Goodyear blimp, dude.
Yeah, he's a big man.
Huge.
Island
Yeah.
Dr. Moreau. That was rough.
Dude, the greatest. They just did that Val Kilmer documentary, and Val Kilmer would just walk around with a video camera.
Yeah.
And it's on that movie. Was
Yeah.
that the movie, The Island Dr.
Yeah.
Moreau?
Yeah.
Or it's just Brando fat as shit laying on a hammock, like, oh, you filming? You know, it's insane.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Brando is.
Look at that sexy
Come on.
son of a bitch.
That guy would do what he wanted with you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted him to.
Yeah.
one of the coolest actors ever. I
Totally.
mean, fucking Streetcar is incredible too. I mean, everything he was in, man. Oh, have you seen what's that movie where he plays a Japanese man?
What?
Pull that one up. Marlon Brando,
Rush Hour
Japanese.
2?
No, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what the fuck? This is the shit that used
You
to.
remember Breakfast at Tiffany's?
It's rough. It's rough.
It's Mickey Rooney.
Mickey
right?
Rooney, yeah.
He's like, "Park the cataract." And they're like,
Oh, dude, that's rough.
There it is.
Yeah.
See, this is why he went hardcore for the Native Americans, because he knew this was in his back pocket.
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Holy shit.
But that's when Hollywood was that's when he gave like a middle finger to Hollywood. I thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah, that was before anyone else was doing it, too.
That's when they were still like the club you wanted to be a part of, and he was like, suck my dick.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
Wow.
He was cool as shit.
All right, well,
All right.
where are you going to, do you want to plug dates? You
Yeah, I got a bunch of if you tomsegura.com/tour. There's I used to like remember I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in this city and that city, and I don't anymore because it's too
so
many.
blur.
But check it out. You'll see a date where I'm somewhere near you. Please get tickets. And the book I'm very excited about. If you want to check it out,
I'm excited.
There's a hard copy. There's a audio book I read the book on Audible.
Wow.
And then there's ebooks too if you're into that. So there's copies of every
That's
kind.
a milestone, man.
It is. It is yeah.
huge.
Thanks, man.
Man, I
Very
hope to
cool,
never
man.
write a book.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of work.
The best advice I said I listened to it for like a week was Tom Papa because he's written a number of books.
Yeah.
He was like set a time every day that's not overwhelming. So like an hour, 10 to 11. Maybe one day you'll write 2 pages. Next day you write 5. So if you do it like 5-6 days a week, you'll have a book.
Just chip away.
Yeah.
Love Tom
But if you
Popper.
go,
Yeah.
oh, he's great. But if you go like, nah, I just don't feel like doing it this
Yeah.
week. And then all of a sudden you have like the pressure building. you know?
Exactly.
I almost wrote a book once because Dana Gould and I wrote a show and we couldn't sell it. And he was like, just write it as a book and we'll be able to sell it. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. And then
Yeah.
I banged out like 80 pages and I was like, nah, I'm good. I can't do it. Fuck this shit.
80
I can't
pages
do it.
pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty good.
But I was like, I'm done. But yeah, man. Yeah, see Tom on tour. You see all the dates up there. We'll throw those up there.
Is that a 12? Oh, sorry. It says 10 p.m. I thought it said 12 p.m. I was like,
God.
damn,
Look at all
doing
those
date
sold. You
times?
better act because look, these are all sold out already. So you better get on these.
Get on
Yeah.
it, folks. Don't miss them. Ooh, Golden Nugget. That'll be
Oh,
fun.
boy.
Lake Charles, Louisiana. Let me apologize now.
I've been there. I've been there.
Okay.
Where are you gonna be, Norman?
MarkNormanComedy.com. I'm all over the road. All the clubs Tom is shitting on, I'll be there. I'll be in Erie.
I'm back at Hyenas, by the way.
Yeah. No, I got a bunch of fun dates. I'm doing the Wilbur, doing the Neptune, doing
It's a great one.
Yeah?
The Neptune's great. You've done it before?
No, never.
Seattle. Yeah, I did my second special there.
Oh,
It's,
yeah?
fucking
Nice.
awesome.
Oh, nice.
Awesome room.
All right.
Wilbur's also, of course, one of the nation's
Epic.
great.
One of the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all kinds of fun dates announcing. Vancouver, Toronto, New
Best.
Orleans.
Those two cities are fucking amazing.
Great
The best.
cities.
Great comedy towns.
Yes.
I'm pumped.
Man,
Congrats on your new special.
Thanks, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'll be out hopefully August or so. I'm happy with it. So check it out.
You have a name for it yet or not yet?
I think it's gonna be called Same Time Tomorrow, which is
Ooh, I like that.
it's literally like a pedophilia joke, but it's also applicable to comedy. So whatever. Probably Same Time Tomorrow, and then Houston Improv, West Palm Improv, building this shit back up. Tampa.
I thought the set was nice, but maybe get Wi-Fi next time, you know?
Yeah, holy shit, Matt. Nice. No internet. I'll be at the No Internet Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be all over Dania Beach, San Jose Improv, Pittsburgh Improv, a lot of improvs.
Yeah.
Building back up, but I'll see you guys on the road.
And thank you, Bearded Jew, for the drink.
you.
Beer Jew.
Beard Jew, sorry.
Same shit.
Thanks so
He is
much,
bearded.
Tom. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
This
guys.
is awesome.
Appreciate
Kill
it.
Colbert.
We're
man.
fans.
Thanks, brother.
We're fans. Thank you
so
so
much.
man.
Comedy.
Sunday's the day for my next offender. A bit of Peter Wreck, you know the beer juice close. I've had a little too much bourbon, and Norman's talking shit about the fucking Pope. And I get down in the same way. Up on the roof like a cop's coming, and naked Samuel is feeling dangerous. I'm out to lunch here in New Orleans. This woman doesn't look like I remember her, and I get down in the same way. We might